Arlen Peebles, everybody. What a great host. Got the right combination of humor, effectiveness, efficiency. You the man, Arlen. So it's great to be with you again. And welcome, everybody. I found out it's Lincoln's birthday in Illinois. Wow. Incredible there. It's a state holiday there. So pretty cool. Again, everybody's in the chat. It's nice to see and hear from you. I am Andrew Marotta. I'm a host for today. And like Arlen said, respectful of your time. I have my timer here. And this is one of the tools of communication. I know I got to end on time. To be an effective communicator, you certainly got to start and end on time. I always like to ask this question first in the chat right now. 10 is you are pumped up, you're ready to go, your energy level. 1 is your head is on the table, you barely can put your fingers on the keyboard, you're so tired. What's your energy level right now, everybody? Good, good. A lot of highs, 7 8s. Solid, Stephanie. Solid 8. Buchta at 7. Celine from Germany. They're coming in at a 9. Yeah. You go with the decaf in the afternoon, huh? I have my cup of coffee here, and coffee's fake energy. We're looking for some real energy. Kendra, I want to get you out of being a 5. Kendra's change your chat to everyone, not hosts and panelists. Diane, you do the same. Hosts and panelists, change it to everybody. So, Denise, that's what you're going to get. Communication to support leaders. Ooh, Celine, I'll take that latte. Here we go, friends. I'm going to share my screen and let's get started. Bam, slideshow here. Okay. So I think it's an art, right? Is it a science? Is it an art? What is it? It's a lot of things. I'm Alana Marotta. Let's get started today. I'm honored to be back. I'm going to show a couple of examples in the chat as soon as this is over. What do you think? What do you think of this communication? I'm showing you this for a few different reasons. But if you're thinking about the art of communication, what does this look like to you? Arlen, did I check that button again? Can you hear that?
Yeah, audio's coming through great.
Hey friends, welcome to Leadership Sparks. I am here at Abilene Christian University, home of the Wildcats, and they're prepping for the game. There's a lot of activity going on here Friday afternoon. And how do they perform their best when it matters most, right? Tonight, these... Oh, sorry. I am here at Abilene Christian University, home of the Wildcats, and they're prepping for the game. There's a lot of activity going on here Friday afternoon. And how do they perform their best when it matters most, right? Tonight, these lights are going to be on, and these players, these cheerleaders, these coaches are going to be under the bright lights. How do we as educators, as leaders, perform our best when it matters most, when everyone's out here? These kids, these athletes have practiced these routes and these runs for so long, but now it's going to matter most. Focus on your process, the routine. Prepare yourself mentally and physically, a lot of deep breathing, and you gotta have super confidence. You gotta have an affirmation. I am gonna catch that ball. I am gonna make that play. I am gonna be that teacher, that principal that does a great job in my school. If I can help you with anything, don't hesitate to reach out. Beautiful campus here. So in terms of communication, in the chat right now, what comes to mind? I just showed you that clip, what comes to mind when we're talking about communication to you? Was it the content? Was it the style? Was it some of the effects? When you're thinking about communication and what I just showed you, what comes to mind? In the chat, go ahead. Content and style, positive energy. It's definitely a lot of talking. Yeah, I was talking a lot. Positive energy, clear message, Jonathan. He liked the clear message. your energy, presentation, visuals, Tammy, right? There was things popping up on there. I was in the stadium itself, right? The stadium itself, the setting was a prop. Closed captions, Kayla, good pickup. You could read the words, but also hear the words, content and style, body language, right? I had my sunglasses on. It was a beautiful day. Live feel, Amber, right? It felt live. People like reality TV shows, things like that. Good. Good. Well, there was a lot of things in there, and your answers are all spot on in thinking about communication. I like your upbeat tone. It matches the setting. Increase your confidence level. That's right. Confidence is an effective or attractive strategy there. But maybe you're on this session and you're thinking, well, that's not my job. It's the director of communications to communicate. It's the superintendent's job to communicate. It's so and so's job. Maybe these people work at your school. Maybe you're saying, well, it's not my job to do that. Well, whose job is it? This is a story about four people: everybody, somebody, anybody, and nobody. And there was an important job to be done. And everybody was sure that somebody would do it. Anybody could have done it, but nobody did it. Doesn't that happen in your district? Somebody got angry about it because it was everyone's job. Everyone thought that anybody could do it, but nobody realized that everybody wouldn't do it. What's going on in this district? It ended up that everyone blamed somebody when nobody did what anybody could have done. It is our job, friend. It is. We all, regardless, if we're the district registrar, if we're a principal, if we're in Germany, regardless of where we are, our role, we all have a job in communicating. I am Andrew Marotta, friends. I'm coming to you from Port Jervis, New York. I'm here in the shrine to Port Jervis. I got my stuff here. I have my jerseys on the wall there for Port Jervis. We're an hour and a half northwest of New York City, and I'm proud of the work we've done here. Our graduation rate used to be in the 60s in the early 2000s, and now look at us. We're almost at 90. A lot of hard work, a lot of positive momentum. And here's what we're going to talk about today, friends. There are different settings, different types of communication, the one-on-one, the big setting in the auditorium, and everything else in the kitchen sink. And while I can't have you volunteer in person, we can have you volunteer in the chat here. And a lot of you wrote in the chat, the energy is positive. I can feel the energy. And that is a tool of communication, transferring that positive energy. So when you think about art, what comes to mind? When I think about art, we're talking about communication here, but when I'm asking about art, in your mind, what's a sentence or a phrase that comes to mind right now? Go ahead. Art. When you think about art, what comes to mind? Style and technique. Beautiful. Creativity. Expression. Creativity. Stories. Reveal beauty. Mindfulness, Kimberly. I like that. Aesthetically pleasing, Tammy. Good. Creative original, Rhonda. I like that. Thinking about your audience, right? Good. Different interpretations. Guys, you got a good chat going today. It's all of those things, right? It's different. It's not perfect. It might be clean for some. It's ongoing. It's a lot of things there. And I view communication in the same way, aesthetically pleasing to people, making us feel good about it. And I also believe in the ABCs. We're in school, the ABCs. Everything we are doing right now, we are always communicating. My supervisors told me when I refereed college basketball for 20 years, never miss an opportunity to let them see you shine. When you speak, you have a chance to shine and show them why you're in the position you are. So never miss an opportunity to let them see you shine. And it might feel like you're showing off. It's not. You're setting the example of how it should be done in those settings. You never know who's watching, right? You never know who's watching. And think about this, friends, in terms of communication and an art form. When I refereed, there's four calls of four grades you can get in a game. When I referee, those big games you're watching on TV, Chicago Bulls, you're watching the Bulls games, well, those refs can get graded on four things: correct call, incorrect call. They blow the whistle. They blow the whistle and they're wrong. Incorrect no call, right? They didn't blow the whistle and they should have. And then a correct no call. There was a little bump. It wasn't a foul. Correct no call. Four things. The highest rated referee in terms of correct calls might not be the highest rated referees from the coaches. I'll say that again. The highest rated referees who get all the calls right, 98% of their calls right, every time they blow the whistle, they're right, might not be voted the number one referees by the league or the coaches. Well, what are they voting them on, friends? Right? Does the teacher who has the highest grade passing or the highest grade average, are they voted favorite teacher every year? Well, what are they voting on? What is the best referee getting voted number one? Why? Go ahead in the chat. What are those top referees getting voted on if it's not correct calls? What are those top teachers getting voted favorite teacher or best teacher if it's not the highest grade average? Consistency, respectful communication. What else? What else, friends? Relationships, appearance of fairness. Oh, I like how you worded that. Willingness to correct oneself. Relationships. For teachers, you know how to make others feel. Communication tools, building connections. Absolutely, you're all spot on. It's those connections. It's how they make them feel, right? That the coaches feel heard, the students feel appreciated, they feel wanted, they feel attention from that teacher. Yes, they might have screwed up the grade. Yes, they might have screwed something up, but the kids love them and they love the kids. Yeah. Ooh, explaining the faults and not just sanctioning them. I like that, Celine. Good answers in the chat. Let's start with the one-on-one, friends. Let's start with the one-on-one. What are some things that we do to make those things more challenging? What are some anxieties or fears we have? What are some things that we do in the chat right now, friends, to maybe put a block up or a hurdle in a one-on-one conversation? In the chat, go ahead. Conflict. Yeah, a lot of times there are conflicts. Not wanting to upset people, avoiding the topic, breaking relational trust. Well said, Angela. Angela, put your comments to everybody, not just the host and panelists. Preconceived, Julie. We're saying how this conversation is going to go. Defensiveness, being aware of what each person is mentally and emotionally. And Josh, we don't know that, right? That's why we got to be gentle. That's why we got to be kind. We feel like we're being judged or we're judging them. Yeah, Stephanie, not being clear, trying to be too kind. Good. Maybe you had a previous bad experience with that parent, right? And their older son, Tommy, was a pain in the butt, and now you're dealing with Michael. Well, Tommy was a pain. Well, so is Michael, right? You had a previous past bad experience with them. Well, here's a couple things that we can do, friends. We're virtual right now, and I'm not with you in person, but with those parents and with those meetings, always try to get them to come in. And before you go right to the office, hey, let's take a little walk, Mrs. Johnson. Let me show you the new C-Tech wing. And you walk with her. Now think about what that looks like. You're walking with Mrs. Johnson, right? She's not sitting down next to you. You're both walking. Your energies are going in the same direction. And Mrs. Johnson now sees you pick up a piece of paper, high five custodian, tell Michelle, hey, great job in the game last night, Michelle. And she's looking at you like, wow, he's incredible, this guy. He knew everyone's name. He's thanking the custodian. Never miss an opportunity to let them see you shine. That's right. We're always kind of showing them about who we are. Move away from your desk. ask, can I go first? I got my magic wand here, right? I might hand them this and say, do you want to go first? Oh, I got ahead with this. Not yet for that. Move away from the big desk. Don't sit behind the big desk. And ask, say, Mrs. Johnson, I know you're upset about Michael. Do you want to go first? I do have some more information that I learned since we first spoke on the phone, but do you want to go first? And see what she says. No, Mr. Marotta, you go first. Okay, Mrs. Johnson. Number one, I'm sorry this is happening, Mrs. Johnson. Michael's a great kid. I'm really sorry this is happening. Show empathy, right? And now you talk a little bit about that. Write those numbers down, friends. Write those numbers down, right? You're in a one-on-one meeting. Write those numbers down. Somebody said in the chat earlier, I had a lot of words in that minute and a half there, and I did. 8% of communication are the words. Only 8%. That's incredible. Only 8% of communication. Right now, I'm communicating to you. Only 8% is the words. 37% is tone. Think about this. If you have a dog at home, you know what I'm talking about. You could tell that dog that they're the ugliest, meanest, nastiest mutt, and you're going to bring them to the pound. You could tell them that. But if you say it, you're the ugliest, meanest, nastiest dog, and I'm going to bring you to the pound. That dog is coming over to you and cuddling up to you, nuzzling up on you. Tone, 37% is tone, friends. 8% are words, 37% tone, 55% body language. As a referee, as a dad, as a principal, I walk in the room, right? I'm smiling at kids. I'm high-fiving. I'm giving the teacher a thumbs up. I'm not, right, staring them down. Body language, so important. Write those numbers down, 8, 37, and 55. I interviewed somebody yesterday, just on my podcast yesterday, and she said this, and I loved it. Here's a clip from yesterday's podcast, and I asked her about advice that she would give people, and she shared some advice that she has. This is Kelly Odell from Kentucky.
Another piece of amazing advice that I had when I became a principal was watch your face, because everybody else is watching your face and you are the tone of the whole school. And so and that stuck with me.
I'm going to pause that, run it back. Look at my face when she says this. I loved it. And here I'm using it in a clip today.
Is watching your face and you are the tone of the whole school. And so and that stuck with me. And there was, and with the rest of the school where my office was, I had to come through our main office to get to my office. That was always my filtering ground. I always I knew in my office is my safe space. If I need whatever, if I needed to break down, if I needed to have a tough conversation, if I needed to really hash through something, that was where I did it. But when it was time for me to go out in that building, I had a filtering ground where I was like, okay, I'm going out and I'm being with my people. I need to make sure that what I am portraying is that I love you and I support you and I'm here for you. And so I was always something I was very conscientious about. I'm sure
Watch your face. That's a real educational term when we talk about body language. Pretty good stuff.
Another piece
there. A couple more. I'm having that one-on-one meeting. I want to be an active listener. I have my notepad. I'm nodding. I'm writing it down, right? I'm listening. I'm letting them know I'm listening. I'm a New Yorker, friend. Sometimes I interrupt, right? And then I like this one. Mrs. Johnson, if you could have a magic wand, if you could do this, Mrs. Johnson. Sorry. It was in my bag for my last presentation. Mrs. Johnson, if I could offer you a wish, if you had one wish regarding this scenario with Michael, what is it, Mrs. Johnson? What? If I could do something for you, what is it? Well, Mr. Marotta, I don't want him suspended. I don't want. Mrs. Johnson, he cursed at the superintendent. What am I going to do? I'm the principal here, Mrs. Johnson. I don't know if I could, not suspend him, but maybe we could talk about reducing the suspension, Mrs. Johnson. Is Mike ready to apologize? Is Mike, sorry about what he did, right? Think about what that does when you ask them, hey, you had a wish here. What do you want? And now you listen, right? Now you listen. What does that do for them? If you ask that question, what is it that you actually really want? If I could give you a wish, what does that question do for them? In the chat, go ahead. What's the answer to that? What does that question do for them? There you go, Stephanie. They feel heard. It gives them a voice. Yes. It doesn't mean you have to agree with it, friends. Right? And you really, yeah, stop and think, right? Stop and think, what do I really want? I've had a lot of parents say, Mr. Marotta, I really don't want this on his record. And the kid's a sophomore, right? I might say, you know what? I'm going to put a calendar reminder for June of 2027, 2 years from now, Mrs. Johnson. And if Timmy doesn't curse anymore, if Timmy doesn't get in trouble anymore, I got no problem taking that off, Mrs. Johnson. I got no problem, right? Gives the parent part of to offer a solution. Good answers, guys. Y'all should be doing this session here. Good answers in the chat. All right, the one-on-one, friends. Get away from that desk. Try to get them in person and try to have an opportunity outside your office to talk with them for sure. All right? Ask them, what is it that they want? All right, part two, friends. Part two, we're already flying through this. The big setting. The big setting, right? You got to tell the right story at the right time to the right people. You got to have a story. So maybe it's almost baseball season there in Illinois, right? You got your famous teams there, the White Sox, the Cubs. Maybe you tell a story. Maybe you're talking to teachers. Maybe you're giving a presentation to teachers, and it's March, it's February, March, and they're exhausted. Maybe they're trying too hard. So you tell them the story of Sandy Koufax. You say, hey, teachers, did you know that Sandy Koufax was a 500 pitcher in his first 3 years? This is a true story, teachers. Google it. Google his record. If you're on your computer now, Google Sandy Koufax record in his first 3 years of pitching. It's a 500 pitcher. And this is a true story. You could Google this too. One day, Sandy loaded the bases walks. He was 3-0 on the batter. And the catcher ran out and said, Sandy, what are you doing? You're trying to knock my glove off. You're throwing too hard, Sandy. Take a little off your fastball and hit the strike zone. Take a little off your fastball and hit the strike zone. Well, Sandy took that feedback. How do you take feedback when you get feedback? Took that feedback, struck out the batter, struck out the side, went on to pitch a no-hitter, and went on to become one of the best pitchers in baseball history, not by trying harder, friends, by taking a little off his fastball. Teachers, I'm here to tell you, you are working so hard. Where can you take off a little bit in your life? Where can you take something off your plate that you can have some time to breathe? As your principal, what can I do to take a little bit off for you? Sandy went on to become one of the best pitchers ever, not by trying harder, but by working smarter and hitting the strike zone. Let's keep hitting the strike zone, friends. You tell the right story at the right time to the right people. If you can start any of your assemblies, anything where you say, let me tell you a story. Maybe you start with a prep. If you like this story, put your phone up. You can get the QR code right there, and you'll have the 5 attributes of the great pencil. You're in the auditorium, you got students, you have parents. Let's say it's parents, and you're talking about working with them and working with their kids, and you say, hey parents, what makes this a great pencil? And let's start with the edge here. Let's start with the tip. Is it sharp? And you let them say. If it's sharp, it's sharp. If it needs to be sharp, it's sharp. If it's sharp, you say, that's right, because this pencil continually sharpens. And so do your students need to. A great pencil will always sharpen its edge. What about this side? Well, that's the eraser. What does it do? Well, the eraser is when we make mistakes, and your kid is gonna make mistakes. We have to teach them to fix those mistakes and move on. It's okay. A lot of our kids want to be perfectionists. It's okay. We all make mistakes. So does a great pencil. If I had asked you to write on every surface in my office here, could you do it? The answer is yes. The pencil is adaptable to the room. It's not just a one-trick pony with paper. It's adaptable. I'm holding this pencil in my hand right now, but if it was just sitting on the table, is it a great pencil on its own? Is it a great pencil? No. It has to allow itself to be held in everyone's hand, in someone's hand. You have to allow yourself to be held in someone else's hands. Your students, your families, your community. You have to allow. And lastly, friends, what's more important? What's on the outside or what's on the inside? The inside, absolutely. The 5 attributes of the great pencil. You could start your talk with that. You can give every parent a pencil with your school name on it. You can give every kid a pencil. I've used this at graduation. I've used it at kindergarten moving up. I've used it at middle school moving up. And you give the kid a pencil. Arlen, if you're with us, if you want to grab that QR code from there and throw it in the chat that way, now you have the 5 attributes of the great pencil. These are also on Amazon, friends. You could get probably 6 of them for $7 or $8 there, and there's your prop. People love a good prop. So, right, real quick in the chat right now, give me some feedback on those stories. I gave you 2 stories. What's some feedback you have in the chat right now? No phone. If someone could do that, sorry, friends. Arlen got his phone down. Maybe while you're going in the chat, I'll grab my the thing there. What were the 3 numbers referencing what people see? I'm not sure what you mean there, Samantha. What were the 3 references? What were the 3 numbers referencing what people see? I'm not sure what that question means. Elizabeth, absolutely. Every time you speak, you have a prop. I got props all over the place here, Elizabeth. I'm constantly looking for new props, different things to use. Stephanie, he took the feedback, right? Good. Yeah, good. Good. 2 or 3 slides. Oh, 8:37 and 55 is the body language. There you go. Body language, communication. 8% is the words, Kayla. 37 is tone, and 55 is communication. There you go, Elizabeth. She was doing her homework there. Good. Friends, whenever you're going to speak in public, start the talk with, let me tell you a story, right? So many times speakers get up there, communication, they say, let me tell you about myself. Nobody wants to hear you talk about yourself. Tell a story about a winner in your school, about a great kid in your school. Use a prop and tell a story there. So, and again, moving away from the podium is a great technique, a great strategy, right? You can get away from the podium and get in with your audience. Well, Andrew, I get nervous and my hands shake. Here's a technique for you. Let's use my pencil if it was a mic. If your hands shake and you feel like you're going to be nervous, tuck your elbow in close to your body. And now I'm holding my arm against my hand. And nobody knows I'm doing that, but I got it here so I'm not nervous. And now if I'm still nervous, I can do this. But my arm is braced against my hand. Get out of your comfort zone and get away from the podium. And again, you can engage with your audience by moving down, giving them high fives and a close look in the eye. I like to do hand raisers in the crowd here. That's why we use the chat in these. We ask questions. Well, who graduated from Port Jervis High School? Who lives in the community? Who wants to be a teacher? Who, had a good experience when they were in high school? Who had a bad experience? Who remembered, You ask people, get people engaged. I like to say 2 claps. That's my tagline here in Port Jervis. We go to awards assemblies, right? And hey friends, we're gonna keep it moving tonight. Every winner, we're gonna get 2 claps. Let's practice together, everyone. 2 claps. Bam. Keeps the crowd moving. All you elementary people, you do all that kind of stuff. Great ways to get your audience involved. It's an art, not a science, right? It's an art, yeah, communication there. When you could add live music. When I speak in Illinois next year at the conference, Arlen, tell that DJ to get the music going. There will be music on. There will be a rotating slideshow on. Hopefully, we'll have some live singers. I remember there was a principal that brought their kids from their school in virtually, and they sang. Any event at your school, if you can have kids singing, teachers singing, playing instruments, do it. Arlen's in a band. It makes the room come alive. And here's my rotating slideshow, friends. Put your phone up there, put your QR code on there. Those are the rotating slides. You will see these next year at IPA. I'm always adding and changing. Take out the pictures of Andrew Marotta and put in pictures of your kids, your students. Right now, you have parents there that are coming to the parent meeting at 6 o'clock in your auditorium. Well, the real eager parents, the great parents, are going to be there at 5:40, and they're going to be sitting right up front. And what's happening? Are you showing videos? Are you showing things? Do you have kids playing music? And do you have a rotating slideshow? Well, now you have one. Take out the pictures of Andrew Marotta and put in pictures of your school and your kids. Breathing, friends, breathing, getting ready for that speaking engagement, breathing. Maybe you need to do a little meditation before you go in the auditorium, right? You see these big performers behind stage, and they're doing some breathing exercises. I'm not going to make you do it right now in the interest of time, but this is 7, 7, and 7. Breathing in for 7 seconds, holding for 7 seconds, and breathing out. I do it all the time. I did it right before this session today. Great breathing technique behind the curtain to get the thing get yourself straight. If you're real nervous, do it in front of everyone. Say, hey, everybody, I'm real nervous today. Let's do a breathing exercise together. Let's do it. Get everyone to stand up and do it with them. They'll acknowledge your authenticity. They'll like that. They'll respect that in you. The big setting, friends, always have a story. I'm putting my email in the chat right now. If you need a story, you're giving a presentation, here's my email. Email me and we'll get in touch and I will help you with a story. You tell the right story at the right time to the right people, right? You have to have a good presentation, but when you can start or end with a story, absolutely there. And now everything else in the kitchen sink about communication, because I believe this, right? It's one kid, it's one person, the power of a single experience. We've all got into education because of the experiences and the way the people made us feel. Depending where you are in the country, football is very popular. Well, here where I live on the border of New York and Pennsylvania, Penn State is where it's at. A friend of mine brought his 9-year-old son to football camp this year. And they came back and I said, oh, how was it? He said, Mr. Marotta, the coach, James Franklin, greeted me on the way in. When I got to camp, he was standing outside. Art or science, the art of communication. The kid will love Penn State forever. He got to meet Coach Franklin. And here's Coach Franklin, head coach of a massive college program, greeting the campers. Have you ever heard of that before? Greet them out the door, friends. It's an art. You're saying hello to people. You're asking. You're having human conversation. Here's my school district, Port Jervis, New York. We've worked real hard to make our place clean. What do you see in the picture? Might be hard for you to see there. I'm not sure how big your screen is, but what do you see? Welcome sign, landscaping. Welcome back. Someone's at the door. They're actually cleaning the door, Celine. Clear pass, neat and clean, Rhonda. What else, friends? Keep looking. Good stuff. School colors, benches, garbage cans. It's organized. It's sharp looking, right? There's a lot of things. Very intentional about making sure the school is clean. And here's what Coach Semirano said to me once. Coach Ron, right? I got some criticism for planting flowers out front. Why wasn't I analyzing the test scores? Why wasn't I looking at the reading curriculum? Well, I was outside beautifying the front of the building, and it pays off. I think it means a lot. What the grounds, what the school looks like. It's communication, friends. How many of you are going to go to a restaurant for Valentine's Day on Friday? When you walk in there, you want to hear a violinist playing, you want to see red garland and hearts, and you want to smell delicious food and hear the sights and sounds? Well, every day is not Valentine's Day at school, but you can make it very inviting on people getting into school. Here's an exercise you can do, friends. Here's an exercise. Walk around your building and see what the signage says. Are they written positively? Are the signs written in a positive way? Here was one of our first signs we put up when I got to the school, and we said, proud to be drug and smoke free. Were we smoke free at the time? No. Did people snicker and laugh? Oh, smoke free, not Port Jervis. Well, we are now, and a lot of it was with the signage. Proud to be smoke free, not no smoking, not you're going to get cancer. Proud to be smoke free. That was our slogan there. Writing the signs in a positive way. There's me and my AP. What do you look like? What do you sound like? Are you repping your school gear? Do you rock out the school gear? Do you carry the banner for your schools? It's communication. I got pride in my school and I want to show it. I wear my school colors. I want to carry the banner for Port Jervis. Look at that saying there. It's true. It's true. You could go to certain districts and you might see one or two people wearing the swag, and you go to other places, everybody got the swag on there. It says a lot about the culture and climate of the school district. Take a second and read that sign there. I don't want people disrespecting my staff, speaking poorly in the office. Very intentional about the signage and the wording on the signs. The sign on the right there, where'd that come from? What slogan did I steal that from? Yeah, Samantha, got milk. You're dang right. The milk lawyers didn't call me and complain, but people showed pride in the school. Here's another great strategy. Parent panels and student panels. Having the parents and the kids involved, you could kind of be the facilitator now, and you're not lecturing a group of 200 parents. You're having parents talk to parents and you're asking pointed questions. If you've never done this, absolutely try it. It's a great way to communicate with people. Enthusiasm. You guys, the opening segment there, a lot of you mentioned positive energy and enthusiasm. Well, this is Donald Burke in our school district. Donald greets people by saying, "Oh yeah." You walk into my school and Donald's going to yell to you, "Oh yeah." That's enthusiasm there. So we got him a shirt. The guy's got his own shirt because he's so enthusiastic. Pictures, pictures, pictures. If you don't have one of these things in the back, they're called step and repeats. If you don't have one, write it down right now. It's budget time. Get with your secretary and get that ordered. What do people do with those pictures that you have that posted in front of your school? What do they do with those pictures? They take pictures in front of it. What do they do with those pictures? Yeah, they post it online, Tammy. They share them on social media. And most times it's their kid getting an award. So it's positive. It's not the kid who's getting thrown out of school who's, up there, making signs. It's they're positive. If you don't have one of those, absolutely get it. It's a form and an art of communication for those pictures there, friends. A lot of great ideas just to communicate and things like that. Great stuff there. I have some more stuff, but I am going to stop sharing right now. I know I've been talking a lot. Let's go to the chat right now. Your best takeaway. What did you like about the communication? And maybe what's a question that you have? A lot of things there. We did the one-on-one meeting, we did the large setting, and now we did everything in the kitchen sink. What was the best takeaway for you right now? Where, what day of the week, what time you recommend holding a tense conversation with the staff? Well, Samantha, holding a tense conversation with your whole staff, I don't know if there's any good time to do that. What could you do maybe to do that in smaller groups, maybe with departments, maybe have some smaller conversations first? Samantha, I'd love to talk more if you want to reach out to me. Maybe I'll walk you through that. Um, do you have time before school, but then that's leading into the day? That's a tricky question, Samantha. Every district's a little time. My recommendation is what can you do to release the tension of the meeting and maybe do it in a different fashion? So, yeah, start with a story. Good. Communication. Good, good. A walk and talk, Adrian. Adrian, put your chat to everybody, showing that you care. Be a listener. Use of props. Never miss an opportunity to let them see you shine. Good. Good. And some people say, "Oh, you showing off." No, you're not showing off. You're sharing. You're sharing why you're a good leader. You're sharing what your kids see every day, right? What the students see every day. You're being a leader. They chose you for a reason. Well, you got to show them that. Show them that. Good. The visuals. Good. Are there tips that would be relevant for those with autism who might struggle with maintaining eye contact? Absolutely, Kayla. Good question. Kayla, there's so many ways to do that. Again, I showed you a couple short videos today. There's ways to participate electronically where maybe you use a program, there's all kinds of programs, a Mentimeter where kids can throw answers up there electronically. The closed captions, right? If I'm talking out loud, there's programs right now, Google Meets and things that could transcribe my words. So maybe you have your person's talking, but the thing's transcribing on another screen. Absolutely. That's a great question. Good. Yeah, Kenja. Nervous, right? Say, hey, friends, I'm nervous. I'm going to tell a couple dad jokes or a couple mom jokes, right? Or, hey, let's do this breathing exercise together. I'm nervous. Someone told me that I'm supposed to pretend the crowd is in their underwear, so I'm going to do that right now, everybody. Oh, you know, yeah, good, good. Arlen, not all crowds are created equal, and this has been a great crowd. Let's do a couple more things, friends, and then we'll take it back to the chat. Let's end this up here. All right. Thank you for sharing in the chat, friends. A lot of stuff there. Gave you a lot of stuff. I hope you liked it. You're going to get a recording of this. And certainly I gave you my email. Would be happy to help you out. To the young lady who asked that question, if you want to have a conversation and maybe we'll talk about some things, please reach out. Friends, this is the Port Jervis website. If you go under communications department, this is the work I'm doing now. I've been a building principal for 20 something years, and now I'm the director of communications, right? It's an art. There's a lot of the content that we do in here right now. Podcasts, alumni podcasts, blogs, digital representations of the district, different things to help not only the district shine, but our individual kids and our staff. So those are all on the Port Jervis website under communications department. And I'd be happy to walk you through any of those. If you've never done a podcast in your school, I highly recommend that as well. Again, maybe you're sitting there saying, well, Andrew, I don't have a podcast. Or Andrew, we don't have a sign in front of our school. Well, what can you do? We all can do something. What can you do? I love this quote here from President Roosevelt on Abraham Lincoln's birthday. My wife says, Andrew, not everyone's got a big mouth like you. Not everyone's comfortable speaking in public like you. It is a skill, friends. I've learned a lot about how to do it. I keep working at it. I want to get better and better. It is a skill. Are some people better at it than others? Absolutely. Do we work at it? Do I work at it a lot? Yes. Am I thrilled that I'll be the keynote speaker at the IPA conference in October? Yes. Am I going to work my tail off to make sure it's a great speech? Yes. Be bold. Be bold and be brave when you go out there. I mentioned about transferring energy, friends. This is the actual word. If you Google that, it's a Sanskrit word. And you got to transfer positive energy when you speak. You got to transfer positive energy. Friends, I'm a speaker, a presenter. I saw there was some assistant superintendents on here and superintendents. I'd love to come speak to your school. I'd love to work with your team. Summer retreats, school openings, professional development, all that kind of stuff. And here are all my books. They are on Audible as well, read by the author. So if my accent drives you crazy, I'm sorry. But those are my books there also. Friends, you never know, right? You never know who's in your audience. You never know who's listening. It's important that you be an effective communicator with the work you're doing. It's been an honor to be with you. And before you hang up, or as soon as you hang up, but before you leave your desk, make your action plan. Make your action plan of what you're going to do here. Okay, don't just end off the session here and get out of here. So it's been an honor to be with you, and thank you very much. We'll spend a few more minutes in the chat here before we go. So I want to thank you, Arlen. Before you jump in, I see a couple questions on here. Julie asked, what suggestion do you have for portraying a positive, calm, and open body language when that isn't what you're feeling? Julie, great question. Great question. Julie, we could all try to be calm. We could all try to be positive. But the most important thing is you got to be authentic. If you're angry about something, Julie, or you're frustrated, you don't want that to come out. Here's what I can tell you, Julie. You can act differently than you feel. Well, Andrew, that's fake. You become the way you act. So if you're feeling nervous, Julie, you got to go for a walk. You got to do some breathing exercises. You have to record yourself the day before and practice it. But in the end, as someone said before, say, hey, friends, I'm nervous. I want to do a great job. Help me by being a great audience and help my self-esteem. Laugh at my jokes and clap at my things, and you'll help me get through this. Julie, here's something I do. You ready? Here's a technique. Here's a strategy I do. Arlen, you may or may not see this at the keynote. I don't know if I want to break this one out. But I have everyone stand up, and I say, everyone, please stand up. I'm really nervous, and I got ADD. Can you help me out? This is called the slow clap. It's called the slow clap. You ready? And I do the clap really slow. Really slow. A couple people clap out of order. People laugh. I say, come on, we got to go slow, slow, slow. And then it goes faster, faster, faster. And I say, wow, thank you. You gave me a standing ovation. And everybody laughs, Julie. Everybody laughs. Then they sit down. It kind of breaks the tension. Try that one, and I certainly can walk you through it too. So, Arlen, this was fun. I want to thank the chat here. Yeah, Selena, all the way from Germany. She transferred the Energy International. So, thank you, friends. We have a few more minutes. If you want to jump in the chat with any more questions, and some of you that asked some of the more in-depth questions, definitely reach out, and I would love to talk further with you.
Awesome. Andrew, thank you once again for being our lead webinar presenter, talking about the art of communication. Always great to hear from such a master communicator as yourself. Like you said, you've been at this a while, so you've got a lot of strategies, and great that our audience was able to be here and hear about them today. Any final questions, pop them into the chat. We'll be on for just a couple more minutes. I'll be sending the evaluation to this webinar tomorrow morning, as well as a link to the recording, so you can watch it again and again, as we all know you will. And we'll get this out to all the registrants who weren't able to join us live, so they can watch the webinar recording. However, the only way to get your PD credit is to join us live for the full 55 minutes of the presentation. And you will get the ISB evidence of completion form tomorrow after you complete that evaluation. That's for our Illinois participants.
And friends, the evaluations do matter. Arlen, his team looks at them, and I look at them for good and for bad. And when they're good, I get more opportunities to speak, so that would be helpful to me. But if you have constructive criticism, it certainly helps me get better, and I want to get better. So thank you.
Andrew, any way for me to share the slides as a PDF or the links or anything you included from today when I share the recording?
I can give it to you, sure, yeah.
Okay.
I can give that to you.
Okay, great. Peaches and Bacon Show coming up here in Springfield at Incredibly Delicious. That's awesome. Thank you, Elizabeth. Appreciate that. I haven't seen you guys play in a long time.
Arlen, I'm going to put the link in the chat, and then I can also send it to you.
Yeah, send that to me via email too, so it reminds me to include it in tomorrow's follow-up. Yeah, your slides are so great. I love all the examples you included from Port Jervis, Andrew. You really live out the strategies that you talk about, and it's always great to see those photos of you actually with your students, with your staff there at Port Jervis.
The Jerv, I love it. I got invited to the Rotary meeting right here at 5:30 here. I'm going to throw my pants on and run to the Rotary meeting with our team tonight. Yeah.
Just to be clear, you do have shorts on. You're not totally pantsless.
I did have an activity. I told Arlen before I had to run. I did something in the gym, and then so I do have my shorts on. Yes,
yes, thank you.
Yes,
thank you for that.
I have my shorts on. Art of communication.
Exactly. Yeah.
The slideshow. All right, I'm sending you the slideshow right now.
Okay, perfect.
Bam. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for your attendance, everyone. Be on the lookout for future Ed Leaders Network live events, and go to edleadersnetwork.org to sign up. If you're an Illinois public school educator, it's completely free for you to access all the professional development. And we've got discounts for our state affiliates as well, which New York is a state affiliate as of 2 years ago. So you can get a discounted rate to access the incredible professional development that we work on all the time here at Ed Leaders Network. All right, I don't see any other questions. So everyone is free to log out. If you hover down at the bottom of your Zoom toolbar in the lower right, you'll see a big red leave button that will log you out of the session for this afternoon. And we look forward to seeing you at other of our live events coming up the rest of the school year.